What's up, guys? My name is Gloom. Just gonna do another quick little video showing off the CDs that I've gotten this year so far, 2021. If you saw one of the first videos I posted on this channel, it was just so you know a little raw video I made from my iPhone, just showing my CD collection. It was more of just like trying to get used to speaking on camera and everything, because I've always been camera shy, and I thought showing my CD collection and talking about something I'm passionate about would be a good way to get more familiar with doing this type of thing. And I put that video out in about January of this year, and my CD collection has actually grown quite a lot since then. I think this has been the year where I've gotten the most CDs in 1 year so far, and this year's only half over, so it'll be probably like double by the end of it. But basically, that last video, there was only a handful of CDs in my collection that I had gotten this year, since that was back when the year started. And like I said, I've gotten a lot more this year. So this is just going to be like a little like part 2 or like update to that first video, where in this one I'm going to show specifically everything I've gotten this year so far. I think it's about 40 CDs, I'd say, a little less than that. These aren't going to be in like alphabetical order or order by band or anything. That's going to be more like the order I got them. Just show, you know, just what I've gotten throughout the year so far. The first couple CDs are going to be ones you saw in my first video, but like I said, there was only a handful of them, so besides like 4 or 5 of them, all of these are going to be new to my collection. Excuse me. But anyways, let's go ahead and just get started with it. So first up, this was in my last video. We got Blank Banshee 0, Blank Banshee 1, and Mega. The first 3 Blank Banshee albums. He's a vaporwave artist, does like vapor trap kind of music, so mixing like vaporwave and trap. I got all 3 of these in a bundle on his website, Hologram Bay. I think it was about like $60 total, because he had to ship from Canada. But yeah, this is really cool to have. I love vaporwave, and I wish there was more vaporwave stuff like officially pressed to CD. And I love Blank Banshee especially, and specifically like this album is really good. So I couldn't pass up on getting all 3 of these. They all come in like these cover sleeves with the album artwork, and then like this kind of thing on the back where it shows like some pictures. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's what I first got this year. This is the first thing. Next we got Hail the Sun's first album, Power Right and the Kisser. And if you look there, it's actually signed by their guitarist Sean. Or Shane, sorry, I don't know why I said Sean. This was also my last video, but again, to reiterate the story, Hail the Sun is my favorite band of all time. I got their logo tattooed on my wrist. But how I got this one, I had all their albums up until then, but I could never find this one, their first album. It's pretty rare, and it was made independently, so it wasn't on a label, so this is pretty hard to come by. And I'm a $25 patron subscriber, or patron to their Patreon, I mean. And when you have that tier, you get a video call with the band. I think it's like every 6 months. I'm actually about to do my second call with them at the end of this month. But anyways, during the video call with them, I told them I had all their albums except this one. I couldn't find it. And they were really nice and chill dudes, and they told me if I paid like the $2 or $3 for the shipping label, they would send me a copy of it. So Shane did that, and he signed it too, because he's the one who sent it out. So this is really sick to have. One of my most valuable, not in terms of like monetary value, but personal value. This is one of my most cherished things I have. Next we have the album False Idol by Veil of Maya. This is the last one you'll see that was in my first video. This is the newest Veil of Maya album, until hopefully they put a new one out sometime this year, because they've been releasing some singles that are really good. funny thing about this album was I actually ordered it last year in 2020, and I ordered it through Amazon Prime because I have Amazon Prime, and I ordered it new, and for some reason I got this as a used copy that had a fucking, it was from a library, it was a library copy, and it had the library's name written in Sharpie on the CD, and this like cardboard kind of cover was all torn up, which is clearly not new. So I sent it back to Amazon and got a refund, and of course I still want to get the album, so eventually I ended up getting a good copy of it. So yeah, there's that. And like I said, those are all the ones that were in my last video, so everything going forward from this is going to be brand new to my collection. So next we got some rap songs by Earl Sweatshirt. My good friend Ian actually got me this after watching my first collection video. When I showed the Earl Sweatshirt CD I have, I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, I mentioned that I wanted this and I didn't have it. So my friend Ian was actually pretty chill and randomly decided to buy me this and give it to me. And I didn't ask him anything, he just did it because he's a really nice dude. So I'm grateful to have this now. Really great album. He went to more like experimental rap territory with this one, and I think it did pretty good job. Next we got the self-titled mixtape by Playboi Carti. So it's just titled Playboi Carti. It's actually really dope to have this because I think not enough rappers, especially in like the cloud rap, SoundCloud, whatever you want to call it, scene, not enough of them get their stuff pressed on vinyl, let alone CD. You know, they normally just don't press it at all. But it was really dope that this actually got a CD pressing because this is a really great mixtape. Unfortunately, nothing else from him is on CD, but this is the only thing. But this is my favorite from it anyways, so it's really nice to have. This has a different cover than the digital version too, so there's like that little bonus for getting on CD. Yeah, I need more like SoundCloud rappers to do stuff like this because I would buy it up. This stuff's dope. Next we got another thing from Hail the Sun. This is their reimagined EP. This is a little EP they put out last year that's like a bunch of reimagined and acoustic versions. I'm trying to get this to focus. Come on. Doesn't want to focus on me. There you go. This is a bunch of like reimagined and acoustic versions of some of their older songs. You can only get this by being a part of that $25 Patreon tier that I mentioned earlier. So this is like a pretty exclusive thing to have. Only people in that tier have it, so it's cool to have this. Next we have Minutes to Midnight by Linkin Park. This is the European tour version. I'm trying to see if I can get the cover out a little bit. You can see the normal cover. The reason I got this one is because it has bonus songs on it, which are No Roads Left, and then these two remix and encore session. This is the last Linkin Park album I needed out of like the 3 albums I listened to growing up when I loved this band. It was the first 2 and then this one, so now I have all of the stuff I wanted from them. This is actually a really good album. They strayed away from like their new metal sound, want more like alternative rock, but I still really like this album. Next we have World War X by Carnifex. Their newest album, one of my all-time favorite bands. I just hadn't gotten around to getting this yet, and I finally decided to do it. I like this album. I don't think it's as good as their previous stuff, but it is still pretty good. And I'm hoping their next album is pretty good. Really good album. Yeah, now I'm basically caught up again on all their discography. Next we have the album Gift by Taproot. They are a new metal band from the 2000s. Along like the same vein of like early Korn, Deftones, Slipknot, that kind of stuff. I think this is a really underrated album from that scene. This band doesn't get enough credit from that kind of scene. This album is really good. So yeah, really good old school new metal, if you like that. And then let me fix this really quick. Next we have Restitch These Wounds by Blackwell Brides. This is the 10th anniversary like remaster, re-recording of their very first album, We Stitch These Wounds, which is my favorite album from them. Yeah, they decided to do this last year as like a 10-year celebration thing. It has newer artwork, and I just overall think this looks sick. This sound quality and production wise, this is way better than the original. I mean, I already love the original, but this is a step up, so there's really no reason to listen to the other one anymore besides like nostalgia, because this is like a much better version of it. Next we have When Broken Is Easily Fixed by Silverstein, or Silverstein, however you want to call him. This is the version that has like the 2 bonus songs on it, the last 2. This is one of my favorite post-hardcore bands from when I was getting into the genre a couple years ago. I just hadn't got around to getting this album until now. I believe this comes with like a bonus DVD too. But yeah, I really like the album art, and I've only heard this album and the one after that, Discovering the Waterfront, but I really like both of those, so I want to get more into them. Next we have Feeding Fiction by Hardest. This band I discovered a long time ago. This is like one of these more obscure, one of these more like obscure underground bands. I mean, they're not really underground because they got signed to Roadrunner for a while, but I found them on YouTube when they were unsigned, when they made out their EP, Nothing You Didn't Deserve, and they were more like a metalcore band. And then a couple years later, like 2014, this came out, and their sound was completely different. They went for a more like mainstream, like Roadrunner Records radio rock sound, if you know what I'm talking about. And at first I didn't really like it, this album. I didn't really like their change in sound. But as the years went on, I kind of warmed up to this album. And now I'd say I'm a pretty big fan of it. I like this album. Oh, I wish this band will make more material though. Next we have The Finer Things by State Champs. Really good pop punk album. This is the only album I've actually heard from them, but I really like it. I heard this a long time ago, and I just didn't get around to getting it until now. There's going to be a decent amount of albums in here that I've known for years, but I just got around to getting them, like this one. But yeah, this is a really great, catchy, like, pretty straightforward pop punk, but it's really, really nice. I need to check out this band more. Speaking of albums I've known for years and just got around to, it's The Emptiness by Alisena, however you want to say their name. I've known this album for a long time. This was like one of the first albums that got me into post-hardcore when I was starting to explore my music tastes more. My friend Marcos showed me this band, and I've known this album, like I said, for a long time. I just never got around to getting it until now. Really great concept album about, I believe it's about like a writer or a poet whose wife gets killed. I don't remember the concept all the way, but this is a great album. If you're trying to get into post-hardcore, give this album a shot. Okay, next we got Two Less Don't Make It Right, but Three Do by Reliant K. This is the gold edition sleeve. I'm trying to get the normal cover out. Maybe I can't. But anyways, excuse me. This is the gold edition, so it has this different cover, and I think it's remastered. It looks a little banged up because I got this used off eBay because I couldn't find it anywhere else. They're actually kind of a cheesy, like, PG Christian pop punk band, which is normally not my type of thing, but I've known this band since I was a kid because one of their songs, College Kids, was on a game I played growing up. So I was always kind of biased towards this band. It's the only album I've heard from them, but I do really like it. It's like more PG, like clean radio pop punk, but it's really catchy. Then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have Count Your Blessings by Bring Me the Horizon. This is their debut album when they were a deathcore band. One of their earliest deathcore bands too. I like their other stuff. I'm like one of those people who hates everything and just wishes they would make this kind of sound again. I actually like their newer stuff too, but I do really like this album. Like I said, one of the earliest deathcore albums. Production's kind of spotty on it because they're like a bunch of teenagers, and this is like 2006. So the production isn't great. It's a bit muddy and like amateurish, but it's still a really great album. Okay, next we got 30 Seconds to Mars, their self-titled debut album. With Jared Leto. This is his band. This album is really, really good. Most people only know the one after this, A Beautiful Lie, because it has The Kill on it. But this album is insanely good. It's like a space rock, like alternative metal sound. A bit heavier than the stuff they went on to do after this. But this album is extremely good. I think Jared Leto has a really good singing voice. And if you like Jared Leto, I mean, if you only know The Kill, I would recommend this album. This is a really great, kind of like, it's not really radio friendly, but it's like more of that accessible, cleaner metal sound. Okay, next we got an album called Idealism by a band called Coletta. I really like this album cover. They used to be a swancore band, which is like progressive post-hardcore, kind of like Dance Gavin Dance. And with this album, they decided to go in a more like psychedelic pop, R&B kind of direction, and like kind of left the whole post-hardcore realm. But this album's actually really good. It's really catchy. It's got really nice vibes and grooves to it. So if you like post-hardcore, you'd still probably like this, because they have some of their elements are here. But like I said, it's more pop and R&B. So if you like dream pop, like, like shoegazy pop or alternative R&B, give this album a shot. We got the Zombie EP by Delores Parada, one of their best releases. I decided to get this after Zombie 2 was announced. I've known this EP for years, I just never got around to getting it, but the announcement of the sequel got me, nostalgic about this, and I wanted to pick it up before the second one came out. I'm really hyped for the second one. From what they've released so far, it sounds great. And this is also a great EP. This is a lot heavier than their normal stuff, so if you've been like kind of turned off to their sound, give this EP a shot. Then we got Follow Your Bliss, The Best of Senses Fail. This is their compilation album. I normally don't get compilations or like best ofs, because I mean, they're just like compilations of their best songs. They're not like full albums. I tend to get the albums. The reason I got this is because it has this bonus EP that has original songs that are only on this. So I basically got this for that, because I basically have everything from this band already. I had all the releases except for this, so I wanted to get this for the bonus EP. But like all the songs on the best of, I have the albums for them, so there's not really any reason for me to listen to it. Okay, next we got Matriphagi, I think that's how you say that, by Tala. One of the newer albums of my collection. It came out last year. This is a new school new metal band. They're kind of like doing a revival of like Slipknot's old sound. This is a very good album. This is one of the best new metal albums that's been put out in years. If you like old new metal, like Slipknot and Korn, or you're nostalgic for it, do not pass this album up, because this is a great kind of like tribute to that sound, and it has its own concept and everything. This is a very, very great album. We got another newer new metal album, Audio Dope by Dropout Kings. They're also like a revival new metal band like Tala, but this band goes for more of like the rap sound, like Papa Roach, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. But they're actually pretty good too. Like I said, they're more Linkin Park-ish than Korn or Slipknot, so they're more like cleaner, accessible new metal sound, but this is still a really good album. So I recommend both of these albums if you like new metal. Okay, next we have the Agony Scene and their second album, The Darkest Red. So their first two albums are self-titled Darkest Red. This is a very good classic metalcore band from like the early 2000s, the more like At the Gates core metalcore sound, like Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, As I Lay Dying, stuff like that. This is one of the first bands I got into that used clean vocals once I was getting out of my deathcore phase. These are both really good albums, especially this one. So if you like old school metalcore, definitely give this band a shot, especially this album, Darkest Red. Okay, now we have New Age Filth by Hail the Sun, their newest album that came out a little over a month ago. I think it's the only album I have right now that came out this year. Like I said, it's the newest album, and you already know, favorite band. I think this album is amazing. I don't think this band is capable of putting out something that I don't like. But yeah, with this now, I'm caught up again on everything they have. Great album, you should definitely listen to this. Okay, now we got Hotel Diablo by Machine Gun Kelly. A lot of people probably know him now from his pop punk album Tickets to My Downfall. This is the album he put out right before that, where it was kind of obvious he was going that direction, but it's still pretty rap based. There's a couple like rock and pop punk style songs, but this is when he was still more rap. But I actually think this album and Tickets to My Downfall are both really good. I don't get the hate for him. People just hate him because of the whole Eminem thing, but I think MGK is a pretty good artist on his own. I still want to get Tickets to My Downfall, but I think this album is really good too. So if you like, if you want to explore him more, like you found from his pop punk stuff, listen to this album. You might like this too. Okay, now we have Old Souls and Lord of Woe by Make Them Suffer. This is kind of a compilation because it has an album and an EP together. But this is like, once this band got signed to Rise Records in America, they put out this like reissue of the newest album with their first EP bundled in with it. This like own cover, like the Lord of Woe covers like embroidered in here. This is a really good album. I haven't listened to their two newest ones, but this one and Never Bloom were like two of my favorite deathcore albums back in the day. So I was bound to get this one eventually. Great album. Next we got the 10th anniversary version of Great Cold Distance by Catatonia. One of my all-time favorite bands. Probably just behind Hail the Sun. This album is probably their most accessible and easiest to get into if you haven't listened to them. It's more like a really clean alternative metal sound, kind of like, they're like a more depressing, dark version of like Tool. This album, like I said, this is probably their easiest album to get into if you're not familiar with them, because the rest of their stuff is more like goth and like doom metal, but this one's more like radio friendly. It's still really dark though, so I would recommend this if you haven't listened to them. But this is again the 10th anniversary version, so there's a bunch of bonus songs on it. Okay, next we got another one of my all-time favorite bands, The Smiths. This is their self-titled debut. I just recently got into them within the last year, but they've already grown to be one of my all-time favorite bands. I love Morrissey's lyrics and vocals, even though he's kind of a douche. I do like this band a lot. But like I said, this is their debut, and it's the American remaster, so it has this charming man on it, which I don't think was on the UK version, like the original. But yeah, this is their first album. I want to get their other ones because from what I've heard, they're all really great. So I need to get more of their albums. Okay, next we got Set the World on Fire by Blackboard Brides. This is their second album after We Stitch These Wounds. I actually really like this album too. They strayed away from their metalcore sound from the last album and went to a more like straight up heavy metal, kind of a bit of like glam metal. Where this album is really good, especially the guitar work. The guitar work is insane on this album. So I know this band's really hated, but if you can get past that, you know, the bandwagon and give this band a legit shot, you might enjoy it. Especially like if you like guitar work, this album is great for that. They have a very good guitarist. Now we got a throwback here. We got Slipknot self-titled, the 10th anniversary version with the bonus DVD. I've had this album before when I was a kid. This used to be my all-time favorite band when I was a kid. Like, I was obsessed with this band. And I had this album, but I ended up getting rid of it a long time ago once I started getting out of them. But I still have, this band still holds a place for me. It's, you know, it's one of my gateway bands. And I heard that these like deluxe versions that I used to have, like this one, it's starting to get kind of rare to find and going up in price. So I wanted to pick it up before it's too late. So I have this again. And I already had the 10th anniversary Iowa and the deluxe volume 3, so now I just need the deluxe version of All Hope Is Gone that I used to have, and I'll have all of the Slipknot stuff that I used to have. Oh yeah, and I have the Grey Chapter deluxe too. Okay, now we're gonna go into some emo. We got Casually Dressed and Deep in Conversation by Funeral for a Friend. There's another one of my favorite post-hardcore bands, but they really capture that like early 2000s emo sound. This wasn't that easy to come by. I think this album's getting more uncommon or like out of print because it took me a while to actually find a copy of this. I couldn't find it on Amazon or anything. I think I got this from eBay, but it is a new copy, so I'm glad to finally have this album. I need to listen to their other stuff. This is the only one I know. And then, again, more emo. We got December Underground by AFI. If you grew up in the early 2000s, you probably know this album, especially Miss Murder, the song right there. Again, yeah, great emo, like alternative album. A lot of people will probably know this sound and resonate with it if you were growing up in the early 2000s. I've only heard this album so far, but I want to get more into this band because I really like this album. And I really like the album cover too. Okay, we got a couple left. We're almost done. We have The Harbinger by Molotov Solution. This is their second album. I had their third one, Insurrection, already. Just got around to getting this one. I like the album cover a lot. They're a deathcore band that's really political. They focus a lot on like themes of rebelling against the government and stuff like that. I don't always agree with their views politically, but they are a really good band. They have like, it's good to hear a deathcore band that has a meaning to their sound and not just really generic, like violent lyrics. I still really want to get their first album, the self-titled, but that one's so hard to find. But I do have the other two for now. I just hope I can get that one soon. Okay. Then we got 6 Feet Deep by Gravediggaz. This is a 90s horrorcore, like hardcore rap group. They were one of the first rap groups to have more like dark and horror movie type lyrics. I really like this album. I love 90s rap, and this is a really good one. This actually wasn't easy to come by either, like just like the Funeral for a Friend one. I could not find this anywhere. I got this off Discogs, I believe. If you like 90s rap, or if you like horrorcore and that kind of sound, definitely try this album out. This album's really good. Okay, then for the last two albums, we got The Cleansing by Suicide Silence. Classic deathcore album. You probably have this album if you like deathcore. This is one of the first deathcore bands I heard growing up. I've known them for like 10, 11 years now. I just never got around to getting this album until now. And this is the I think it's the UK version that has the bonus song A Dead Current on it. Again, this is another album that for some reason I couldn't find that easily. I don't know if it's because they haven't been on Century Media Records in a long time. Maybe they're going out of print, but like all of their older stuff with Mitch, I'm finding it harder to find these. I think I got this on eBay. It's new, but I got it on eBay instead of like Amazon. So if you're trying to get Suicide Silence's old stuff, you should probably act on it now, because I feel like these are going to be harder to find soon. Like I said, it took me a little bit to get it. Then last, we have another deathcore album, one I actually just got today when filming this video. It's Gates of Punishment by Rose Funeral. Another deathcore band. They focus more on like anti-religious lyrics. I've known this album for a long time too, but I just never got around to getting it. I already had the Resting Sonata, their album before this one. I just hadn't got around to getting this one yet. But this band is starting to become more active on social media again and talking about a new album, so it kind of got me in the mood to listen to them, because they had been kind of dormant and on hiatus for a while. This is their newest one, and this came out in 2011, so it's been almost 10 years we haven't gotten an album from them. So hopefully they do put out a new one soon. But yeah, this is a really good album if you like deathcore. They sound kind of like Carnifex, I would say, is the closest comparison. But anyways, that's all the albums I got so far as of the end of May, middle of May 2021. Like I said, this is just like a little update on what I've gotten so far. Only a handful of albums, about like 37-ish. So this will probably grow a lot by the end of this year. I'll probably do one more of these videos around the end of this year as like a second part of like what I've gotten this year. Since I did this one 6 months in, I'll probably do that next one at the end of the year. I'm curious to see how much this will grow, but this collection will grow by then. But anyways, that was it for this video. This little update. There's my record shelf, or my CD shelf up there. That's all the stuff I got before this year. Anyways, hopefully you guys like this video. If you enjoyed my collection, if you want to recommend some albums or anything, or you know, ask me where I got something that you want to find, just let me know and I'll get back to you. Have a good day, guys.